Did the luggage arrive? Starting today, my parents are moving in with us, so please be nice. That was the first thing he said, joking around. As if I wasn't already furious with him. How self-centered can this man be? That's the situation, so I'm counting on you. I know what he's up to. He wants to keep me in check by bringing his parents over, while also expecting me to sort various things out for him. Anger rushes through me, but I quickly smirk. Yeah. I just moved out of my house too. Huh? I hold back laughter at his dumbfounded voice. Apparently, he forgot who owns that house. Even Sean, who's listening to our conversation, is trying hard not to laugh. Because that house originally belonged to my grandparents, and I'm the owner now. Ah. So, whose permission were you planning to get for moving in? I refuse to let such people into my house. A mother-in-law who enjoys tormenting her daughter-in-law and a father-in-law who's obsessed with his grandson. And then. You thought I didn't know? You'll pay the price for this, rest assured. I'm Naomi Woods, a 32-year-old working mother on parental leave. I have a husband, Jack, and a 1-year-old son, Ethan. Ethan has just started walking, so I can't take my eyes off him. His wobbly walk is so endearing, and it's healing when he calls me with his little mouth. Ethan really loves his mom. I met Jack at work. My family runs a traditional bakery. Baking delicious bread every day, I spend my days smiling with my parents and younger brother. Excuse me, ma'am. Could I have your name and contact information? One day, a regular customer, him, asked me this. His face turned red as he asked, and I found him cute. We started dating. Naomi, your cooking is delicious. Really? Thank you. Yeah. So, will you keep cooking for me? By my side? And so, we got married. My parents were overjoyed about our marriage, but my much younger brother, Sean, always had a serious look on his face. Still, he didn't oppose it, and I believe he was happy for us. My dad's shop is gonna be taken over by Sean, so living with us would just wear Jack out. My dad suggested. So, we're living in my late grandparents' house, just the three of us. I was planning to watch Ethan grow up here, with Jack. One day, I went shopping with Ethan. Holding my hand, Ethan walked with effort. Oh, Ethan! He came with me. Now, say hi to Grandma. Hey, Ethan! After buying bread at my family's bakery, my parents and the regulars greeted Ethan with smiles. Ethan, unshy around others, smiled back. Since our family bakery and our house are about an hour's drive apart, I usually visit my parents' place about once a month. And when Ethan and I return home in a good mood. What? No way. The front door was unlocked. As I open the door, I see familiar shoes. And, as expected, I sigh. I've asked you to let us know in advance when you're coming over. Oh, you're finally back? Where on earth have you been? My mother-in-law, ignoring my words, lounges and watches TV. She probably entered using the spare key Jack must have given her. No matter how many times I tell her, she never listens. Sighing again, I think to myself. Come on, don't just stand there. Get moving and do some housework. I'll take care of Ethan. She picks up Ethan and tells me to clean up the mess she made eating her snacks. I wish she'd clean up after herself and not touch my son with her snack-covered hands. When I tell her this, she grumbles, how dare you, a daughter-in-law, as if I'm dirty or something, and then to Ethan, you have a scary mommy, don't you? Please, don't say weird things to Ethan. I reply and take sleepy Ethan to his room. While doing the chores, she keeps making snide remarks. Honestly, I'd rather ignore her, but if I take my eyes off her, she'll try to take Ethan away. You're boring to talk to. I'm going home today, she says, and leaves. That's a relief for me, so I send her off with a smile. What a handful my mother-in-law is, I mutter and finish the interrupted chores. I understand she wants to see Ethan, her only grandchild. But I really wish she would stop using her spare key to barge into our house. Hey, can you please take back the spare key from your mom? What? Why? After Jack gets home, I tell him about his mother. He looks uneasy even after hearing me out. I glare at him. If you don't take back the spare key from her, I'm changing the locks. And this time, you won't get a key. All right. I'll take it back from her. Is that okay? He agrees reluctantly after I push him. I thought this would make things better. But I was wrong. Can you come with me to my parents' house this weekend to get the key? Jack asked me that weekend. I really didn't want to, but thinking it's better to see it with my own eyes, I went to his parents' house with Ethan. You finally arrived. I have a lot of housework for you to do, so get moving. Ethan will be fine with us. As soon as I entered my in-laws' house, Ethan was taken away by my in-laws, and I was saddled with chores. I glanced at Jack, but he stubbornly avoided my gaze. I've been tricked. He set me up. That's what I thought, but it's tough in a 3-against-1 situation. Besides, I didn't want to stay long in a dusty and dirty house like this, so I quickly got to work on the chores. While I was cleaning, I heard Ethan's loud cries. Ethan! What's wrong? I rushed over in a panic and found Ethan crying and struggling in his grandfather's arms. He reached out for me, so I took Ethan from his grandfather. What did you do to Ethan? Oh, stop it. We didn't do anything. That's right. As I glared, Jack, who had been ignoring everything, started to explain what happened. Apparently, Ethan tried to follow me, and his grandfather caught him and forcefully held him, interfering with his attempt. His grandfather then carelessly played with him, ignoring Ethan's desire to be with me. Ethan is such a crybaby for a boy. Right. It's because he's being raised by a lousy daughter-in-law like you. He should really be with us. I can't leave Ethan here. Excuse us. I hugged Ethan tightly and rushed out of the house. I shouldn't have believed Jack's words. I'm sorry, Ethan. I went home and laid the exhausted Ethan in bed. Then, I called my mom to vent about everything. Meanwhile, I heard nothing from Jack, who was left at the in-laws. About an hour later, the doorbell rang. Sis, can I come in? Sean? What's up all of a sudden? Mom told me to come here. I brought some bread from home. Sean was there with bread from our family bakery. He told me I must be tired and took over the household chores for me. He also cheerfully took care of Ethan, who had just woken up, improving both our moods. You're a lifesaver, Sean. It's no big deal, we're family. Also, a message from Mom. She said you can always come back home. Hearing that, I felt relieved knowing I have such a dependable family. Jack returned a few hours after Sean left. He had conveniently eaten at his parents' house before coming back. Ethan and I were really hurt this time. I'm really sorry. But you know, Dad and Mom didn't mean any harm. Ethan was crying. He showed signs of remorse when I got angry. However, it didn't seem sincere, and I couldn't trust him anymore. The thought of divorce crossed my mind. Jack, it's time to wake up. Jack? When I woke up in the morning, Jack was gone. In his place, there was a note. I'm going on a business trip to Chicago starting today. You could have told me that directly. Well, it's less irritating without him here. Besides, it's good for us to have some space to cool off. If he's not here, it's no problem to change the locks. This will give us some peace for a while, right, Ethan? Ethan, not understanding the words, smiled at my smiling face. With just Ethan, I didn't need Jack. That's what I thought. From then on, Jack and I began living separately. He was on a long business trip and too busy to return home. I do miss Ethan. And I miss Naomi's cooking. The distance helped us reconcile, and we started updating each other once a week via video calls. Meanwhile, I hadn't heard anything from my mother-in-law since changing the locks. I thought she would at least ring the doorbell incessantly, but she did nothing. It was peaceful, but I felt an uneasy calm before a storm. Sis! Something terrible happened! Just then, I received a call from Sean. Confused by my brother's agitated state, I listened and discovered a secret about Jack. That idiot. I'll never forgive him. Fueled by anger, I began preparing my revenge. With the help of my parents, who were informed by Sean, we successfully completed our plan in 2 days. And just as Sean and I were about to leave the house with Ethan, there was a knock on the door. Excuse me, I've come to deliver some packages. Oh, sure. Just leave them here for now. A ton of packages had arrived at our house. Upon checking the names, they belonged to Jack's parents. I immediately called Jack. Did the packages arrive? From today, you'll be living with my parents. Good luck. What a joke. That was the first thing he said. As if I wasn't angry enough at him already. How selfish can this man be? That's the plan, so count on it. I knew what he was up to. He wanted to control me by bringing his parents into the house while he sorted out his own conveniences. Rage surged through me, but I quickly smirked. Yeah. I just finished moving out myself. What? I had to hold back my laughter at Jack's dumbfounded voice. It seemed he had forgotten who owned that house. Sean, listening beside me, also struggled to contain his laughter. Because, you know, that house originally belonged to my grandparents, and I'm the owner now. Oh. So, who exactly did you plan to cohabit with without permission? I'd never let such people into my house. A mother-in-law who enjoys making her daughter-in-law's life miserable, and a father-in-law who tosses his grandson around. And you think I knew nothing? You'll definitely pay the price for this. Who would live with a husband who cheats on business trips? Wait a minute, you moved out? Exactly as I said. I've already sold that house. What? Why would you do something so drastic? My parents are supposed to arrive there this afternoon. Apparently, he had planned to force cohabitation without my consent. The reason why I hadn't had any surprise visits from my mother-in-law recently must have been because she was busy packing for the move. Dealing with all the clutter at my in-laws' house must have been a hassle. But well, that's not my problem anymore. Don't mess with me. The one messing around is you and your parents. Their packages are at the front door. Bye. With that, I ended the call. He tried to call back immediately, but I blocked his number and all other contacts. Sorry for the wait, Sean. It's okay. Come on, let's go. I owe Sean so much. It was thanks to him that I found out about Jack's affair. Sean had gone to Universal Studios in Orlando with his girlfriend, and there he spotted Jack cozily arm-in-arm with an unknown woman. I hadn't seen my brother-in-law since the wedding, but he was a regular, so I remembered him. He took evidence of the affair and let me know. Then, with my parents' help, I got straight to work. Among the regulars at our family bakery was a private investigator who got us more evidence. And through the PI's connections, we found a lawyer. A real estate agent, a friend of my father's, quickly got to work on selling the house. That house had been renovated before you two moved in, sparkling from top to bottom. There's a school nearby, and it's walking distance to the station. So it'll sell high and fast. Dad said. True to his word, the house sold quickly. The handover was supposed to be today, but then all those packages from my in-laws arrived. I'm home. Welcome back, Naomi. And you too, Ethan. Both of you, welcome home. You must be tired. Thanks to my parents' warm welcome, I let out a sigh of relief. I'm home, I said with a smile, and Ethan also raised his cheerful voice. Everyone laughed in response. Now, all that was left was to fight back. I'm gonna work hard, so cheer for me, okay? To my words, Ethan kept smiling adorably as usual. Oh, Naomi. Are you working at the shop today? Yes, I am. Please buy a lot. Then, I started working at the shop front while taking care of Ethan. The regular customers greeted me with smiles. Being back at the shop was a fun time for me. It was then that it happened. Naomi! Naomi! Jack and his parents appeared. I stopped what I was doing, handed Ethan to my mother, and confronted them. Let's step outside so we don't bother the other customers, shall we? I don't care about the other customers. What's with this rash decision you made? Oh, but going on a business trip and cheating is not rash? My words drew cold stares from the regular customers towards Jack. Noticing that, Jack fell silent for a moment, but then. We sold our house with the intention of living in that house. Where are you expecting us to live now? And according to Jack, it seems like it's Naomi who's been cheating. His parents accused. I was baffled by his father's words. Me, cheating? That's absolutely impossible. I've only ever cared for Ethan. What are you talking about? I haven't cheated on anyone. Lies! Some young guy was coming out of our house, wasn't he? The young man they're talking about is probably my brother, Sean. Eh? Brother? Didn't I tell you? I have a younger brother. As we were talking, Sean popped his head out from the back. Seeing his face, Jack realized and looked surprised. long time no see, Jack. Is he really your brother? So? You thought I was cheating, so without checking, you cheated as well? The business trip was real. But during it, Jack became involved with another woman and chose not to return home, opting to nurture this new love. And then, to support this woman, you got into debt? Eh? At my words, Jack's parents turned to stare at him. Meanwhile, Jack turned pale, wondering how I knew. I did my research, unlike you. You ran out of our joint account money and resorted to a loan, right? Was it $40,000? When I last checked the account, there were only a few dollars left, which was shocking. I had been covering our living expenses with my child support payments and my salary before maternity leave. That money was in my personal account from before we married, securely saved, so it couldn't be touched. In our joint account, we had agreed to save regularly for Ethan's future expenses. But this is too much. Then, shall we let others decide? I sold the house I inherited from my grandparents, which Jack had unilaterally decided to share with his parents, while he was busy with infidelity and accumulating debt on his business trip. Which of us is at fault, huh? At my words, the regular customers glared at Jack and his parents. Realizing they were in a bad position, they backed off. Could you please leave? I said with a smile, and they hurriedly left the shop. Having successfully driven them away, I was applauded by the regular customers, and I blushed with a shy smile. After that, I filed for damages against Jack for the affair and for disturbing the business at our family bakery. Jack, burdened with debt from his affair, couldn't pay, and his irresponsible parents had no money either. So, they had to sell whatever they could to scrape together some money. I really regret it. Please help me. Jack pleaded, clinging to me. I sighed deeply at his behavior. Do you expect me to trust your regret? No, this time I really am. Just stop it. If you persist, I'll call the police. In my words, Jack's shoulders slumped in defeat. I gave him a cold look. I know why you wanted to live with those two so badly. At my words, Jack visibly shivered. His parents had always complained about their small house and wanting someone to do household chores. In essence, they wanted to live in that house with me as their housekeeper. Meanwhile, Jack, who was always outwitted by me, thought he could control me with his parents around. He probably planned to use the money saved from living expenses for his own purposes or to pay off debts. Maybe he even intended to search for my savings account from before we were married. Am I wrong in my thinking? How do you know all this? Being in customer service means observing people. Besides, I married you because I loved you, even though you approached me. I always pay close attention to someone I've loved, even once. I know how you think. Jack looked down, crestfallen at my words. Then, he, damn it, tried to lash out at me. But before his hand could reach me, someone stepped in to stop him. That's going too far. Sean glared fiercely at Jack. Sean had been practicing martial arts for a long time and was in great shape. Jack, grabbed and glared at by Sean, completely lost his nerve. Don't ever show your face to my sister again. Shouted at by Sean, Jack left with a pathetic cry. Thanks, Sean. Don't mention it. Let me know if anything else happens. I'll drive him away. Sean's smile seemed so dependable. You used to hide behind me and cry all the time. Come on, stop it. I'm an adult now. Plus, I have someone to protect. Right. Just don't become a man like him. Sean laughed at my words, saying, of course. He would surely protect his girlfriend well. Both of you, come help out, please. Okay. Called by our mother, we returned to the shop. After that, Jack was too scared to show up around Sean. Moreover, when the lawyer handed him the divorce papers, he signed them without a fuss. We were finally divorced. Actually, the regular customers were furious about how you suffered because of Jack, my mother told me. It seems the story of what happened at the shop spread around, eventually reaching the ears of Jack's coworkers. Once the news spread through his company, Jack had no place there. Facing cold stares from his colleagues, he quit his job. I feel bad about it, so please help. I learned this through a call from my mother-in-law. I had completely forgotten to block their contact information in the midst of everything. Help with what? Well, obviously, financial support. Unfortunately, I'm not kind enough to help someone who harassed me, I said, ending the call. This time, I made sure to block the number. Unable to gather the money for alimony and child support, Jack resorted to borrowing from dangerous sources. Apparently, his affair partner, thinking he was single, promptly left him. I even heard rumors that Jack and his parents were taken away by some men in black suits. Mommy. What's up, Ethan? Meanwhile, our lives were peaceful. We took turns looking after Ethan, enjoying our days with ease. The regular customers also adored him. Separating from Jack brought us happiness. Let's play with Mommy today. Ethan responded with an angelic smile to my words. Sometime later, our family grew. Sean's girlfriend came to our house. She adored Ethan. I'm so happy to have a nephew like him, she exclaimed. I think I can build a happy family with her, Sean said with a smile. A kind person like him choosing her meant she must be all right. If anything happened, I'd be there to help this time. We had no more contact from Jack's side. Thanks to that, our days were very calm. Okay, Mommy's gonna work hard, so stay with Grandma today, okay? Now, the five of us would watch Ethan grow. And I, once again, walked forward, ready to bake delicious bread. Years later, our family grew even more. Sean and his girlfriend got married, and they had a child. Moreover, someone appeared who wanted to be with me. If anyone makes you cry, I'll protect you. Ethan, who has grown up, now says such things. Together with Ethan, I continue to run the bakery today.